Hello, everyone. My name is Eric, he, him, his. I am the Director of Programs at First Graduate, and we are continuing our series on informational interviews. Our guests today are a school therapist and another young first graduate scholar. So I'll start off with introductions, and then after that, we'll just kind of head into the interview. And so please, participants, if you're not speaking, remember to mute yourself so we can reduce line noise. So I'll have Vanessa. Why don't you introduce yourself first?
Hi, my name is Vanessa. My pronouns is she and her, and I'm in 8th grade.
Hello everyone, my name is Kim. Pronouns are she and hers. I am a school therapist.
Hello everybody, my name is Marcel. My pronouns are he, him, and his, and I am the middle school lead at our Denman site.
Hello everyone, my name is Jocelyn. I am the community, my pronouns are she, hers, and I am the community engagement manager at First Graduate.
Cool, thank you everybody. So I'll start off with the first question, and then Vanessa and I will go back and forth. So Kim, can you please explain to us and to Vanessa, what it is that you do? What's the impact that you have on the world? And if you can describe it in a way that the average person can understand, that would be great.
Sure, yeah. So I am currently a school therapist. I work at an elementary and middle school. It's a combined school of both elementary and middle school students. And I typically provide psychotherapy counseling to the students there. And so sometimes I would see the students individually, one-on-one. Sometimes I would see them in groups. Basically what I do is really helping find coping skills and really supporting students whenever they are needing my support. So for example, if a student is a bully or is bullying someone, or if a student is getting into a fight, or if they need help on their IEP, I would be the person to be able to be involved in that student's life. Sometimes there are many things that can happen in a student's life. So sometimes it's really hard to concentrate when there are stressful situations that is going on at home or outside of school that you're not able to concentrate. So as a therapist at a school, I'm able to kind of provide that space for the students so that they are able to work on their emotional health, their mental health, and then and also academic health. And all of that actually helps the student and the family that I work with to thrive as an individual. And so other things that I do is that I collaborate or I work with the principals or the school staff, and I provide consultation when there is if there is a crisis at school, if something has happened at school, I would be one of the people to help with that. So in terms of impact, I mean, directly I am helping and supporting a lot of the different things that happens at the school, and more so directly with the students and their families. And so if we think about it, I am affecting people and students at like an individual level, also at a family level, and at a school systematic level. And that can kind of impact them in a more long term. You kind of like look into the future, how if a student is being bullied, for example, I am able to just help the student walk through that and how to support them in those situations, and then hopefully we are effective enough to stop that process so that the harm is not continuing. And so the impact can be individual and also at a larger level. And then if you look into the future, that it also impacts our society in a larger way.
So how do you like your job, and what is the parts of your job that you love?
That's a really good question. You know, I like my job a lot right now. The parts that I like about my jobs are that I get to work with the very young students who are, I have a large range of students that I work with. And so I like to really work with the young students who are, 5 or 6 years old or even 7 years old. And so I get to, the parts that I really love is to kind of be there for the students when they are having a hard time, but also to bring a lot of play and fun when they are not able to do that, either at home or at school. So those are really parts that I really love. There's also a part in schools and in our society sometimes that does not encourage expression of like arts or creativity. So sometimes I would encourage the students to make art or anime if that's something that they like, or and so those are really fun for me, and so I like to bring fun and play into my work.
Oh, thank you, Kim. That sounds like a lot of fun. So did you have to go to college to get this job? And if so, what is the education and training needed?
Yeah, actually, you do have to go to college. And so you, in order to be a therapist, there are different there are different paths and different degrees. So so after high school, you would, if you want to be a therapist, in my understanding is that you would have to complete a 4-year university, right, first. And then after that, you would choose a field of study that would be able to train you to become a therapist, which sometimes is a master's degree, and that takes 2 to 3 years, depending on the program. The program, it has to be accredited, which means that it has to be affiliated with a governing board. So that means that, and after getting your master's degree, you would have to get certain types of training. For me, it's 3,000 hours of direct psychotherapy or counseling sessions with students, and after that, you have to go through this thing called licensure, and so you have to take this exam and you have to study for it, and then you get licensed, and then you are kind of a licensed therapist. So it's kind of a lot.
What college did you attend, and why is your college great?
I went to San Diego State University, and it is a great college because it's one of the biggest state universities in California. The university is very diverse, and there are a lot of support. There are a lot of student clubs and associations, and there are a lot of professors there that can help guide you and answer your questions, because sometimes as a student you have a lot of questions, and so a lot of the professors or teachers there are able to, answer your questions. So.
Oh, thank you. So what kinds of problems do you deal with in this job?
That's a really good question. People think that only people with problems go see a therapist. And so um, that's not true. I think a lot of people go through difficulties and they sometimes need someone to support them. So some of the problems that I do deal with in this job is is a lot of the things in the background that people might not see, which can be, I can name some of it, and that can be different. It really does depend on where you work at, but especially at the school, there's a lot of documentation, there's a lot of working together with other adults, and that a problem can be good or not so good, right? Yeah, you really do have to think about if you're doing things legally. There are some things that you have to kind of be aware of. So those are something we call ethical and legal things that you kind of have to pay attention to. Those are not necessarily problems, although it is something that I am aware of. Yeah. And so I think one of the problems that I personally deal with in this job is that there is a lot of paperwork that goes into this. And so, yeah, so that's one of the problems. Mm-hmm.